This is legendary highway, dude.
It's true.
Yeah.
Route 66.
It's one of the oldest highways in America.
Goes all the way to Chicago.
Yeah, that's what they say. Well, not
Last time
anymore,
I said that, you got mad at me.
Well, it does it anymore. That's it. I'm not gonna hate. Dude, that's actually you got mad at me.
No, it's actually okay. I'm fine with it.
You know, honestly.
No, yeah. It used to be much more prominent.
Yeah, it used to be the highway.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I used to be super proud of being from the area, from where Route 66 is.
Yeah, same. Where I live, like the Main Street foothill is Route 66.
Yeah.
So like it was always like right. It was always right there.
Yeah. It is interesting, like it's like the road is so ingrained in our kind of like identity with not only just Route 66 that's growing up here, but like LA culture in general, the car,
right?
The individualized travel.
Face at you. Yeah.
Individualized travel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Personal travel in California is huge.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is what the car opened up. You know,
definitely did.
Was the ability for you yourself to move on your own accord.
But traveling in the hands of the everyman.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the road trip begun, the birth of the road trip, the birth of fast food.
Yeah.
Yeah. How like the culture has the freeway.
And now the toll road.
Which has always been a part of the world.
Yeah.
Tolls,
taxation.
Taxes.
Yeah. Gotta pay the toll.
Like if you think about like the old like barons on like the Silk Road, you know what I mean? Like it was, you had to pay because that meant like you had protection by whoever owned the highway that you wouldn't get robbed,
And then then there was highway robbery.
It was like it was.
As long as there's been roads, there's been road robbers.
Yeah, absolutely. There's people on the roads like, yo, what's up though? Where are you from? Where are you from, ass?
The old where you from, huh? You're from around these parts.
Yeah, well, that is part of like the wild, wild west idea in general, is that I guess what would you call it, like the danger, but also the opportunity of being in an ungoverned land,
Yeah.
Like you are moving west and you might have to kill some fellas.
Opportunity isn't always positive.
Yeah, absolutely. There's an opportunity for negative stuff to happen. You're putting yourself in
a lot of the time.
That is risk. That is risk. And that I think that is also like ingrained in like the West Coast culture, is like this idea of, as much as people want to say West Coast is liberal, but it's like this idea that like, oh, if you want to go get it type mentality. I guess that's all of America in a way.
Yeah. I mean, this is the West after all.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of the Wild West they're talking about isn't California. It's Texas and like shit like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Colorado.
Or it's not even that West.
Right. Yeah. I remember I tried to call Kansas the Midwest, and someone was like, that's not the Midwest. The Midwest is like Michigan and Ohio. And it's like, dang, at one point that was the Midwest.
That's what's so funny, like the South. Like South isn't even that. It's like the middle of the country.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
South Carolina, they're like, that's the South.
Right, yeah. Yeah. It's all obviously it's all perceived after the 13 colonies and all that shit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, dude, but talking about road robbers, dude, John Raines, Rancho Cucamonga, I'm from Rancho Cucamonga. John Raines, who like bought Rancho Cucamonga for $1,500.
Damn.
From like this person who owned a shit ton of land.
Yeah.
He was like, he took a horse, like a cart, to go to the city, to go to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And somewhere around Azusa, they found his shit and know him.
Damn.
That fool got disappeared.
Yeah, damn right.
His house is still there in Rancho, though. It's a museum now. It's like a little museum.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's right by there, by Basement Dwellers. It's like literally around the corner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In Covina?
No, I'm sorry. Stargazers. Same boys, different show. Yeah, it's literally right there, though.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that like the old landowners, like the dude that owned Ballin Park was like named Lucky Baldwin or whatever. He owned the fucking. They named like the baseball field after him. All the little leaguers. Like, yeah. You ever see There'll Be Blood?
Yes.
Yeah, well, like that's part like when he marks his pipeline. He's like going through all these places and he's like hammering these nails into these areas.
Every time I think of that movie, I think of Gangs of New York.
Oh, that's a good one too, dude. That's a good one too.
Yeah. Have you ever been to New York?
Hell no.
Me either.
No. Everyone says I like it, but I don't know.
I think I like what it was once.
Yeah.
Now I think it's like gone the Hollywood way of being like more mallish.
Sure, yeah, Times Square and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
I really don't know. I've never been there.
I don't know. I can't really say exactly. Because I live Kerouac and shit, and he spends like a lot of time in New York. Like one of his books, like with William Burroughs, they like are in New York and they're like running around, and it's about like this gay love affair that like as it falls out, and this guy like kills this dude for like because he was gay with him, and it's like this real like weird novel, like Kerouac will write a chapter, Burroughs write a chapter, Kerouac write a chapter. Interesting. Yeah, and they like combined to publish it, and it's about like two of their friends, and it's like a true story about like they were fucking, and then they like one dude like was like freaked out one time and like killed some dude on some homophobic shit. Oh shit. And they had to go to trial, the dude kills like the guy and then goes to Kerouac and is like, yo, like, I just killed this food, like I'm going to jail and shit. And then Kerouac's like, okay, like, what do you want to do? And then he was like, can we just like go play, like they went to like the arcade. He's like, can we just go play games for a little bit? And they go like play games, and then he turns himself in and shit. That's always a funny thing of like somebody like doing something horrible and then like being like, can I just be a person for a little bit longer? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can I go to Burger King? Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, but the way about New York, the way it's like he like writes about New York, it seems like really pretty and really cool. I know it has some like. I'm like, what years are we talking here? Though? These are like the 40s. Oh yeah, you know, completely different time. Oh yeah, late 40s after World War II. You know, I follow a lot of like artists, and so like there's a lot of like art in New York. Obviously, huge art scene. Yeah. I don't know if you know about this. I don't know if you know about New York, but I didn't know it made it out there. I didn't know it made it all the way out there. They have art out there in New York. That's crazy. But no. Yeah. Well, that is like the place. You know what I mean? Like fine art, but also like street art. Like, now, everyone complains about New York, about like how hipsters and like well, they say the same about LA. Like when you talk about like to people up there and they talk about LA, it's like, bro. I was watching Sex and the City recently. And they did an LA episode. They did 2 LA episodes. Not one Mexican person. Right. And they, you know, it's like the complaint of Friends. Yeah, exactly. There's no black people. You know, like cause it's like you really think it's that crazy that some rich girls in Los Angeles don't know any Mexicans? Yeah. True. That too. You know, and the whole time they're like, God, LA's so fake. LA's so weird. LA's so stupid. It's like, bro, that's like the thing about Friends. Like they're like, oh, there's no black people in the show. It's like, oh, a group of white people in New York City don't have black friends. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's so far fetched. That's crazy. Yeah. True. Yeah, you never heard of segregation in there? Oh no. Yeah, pretty big deal. Yeah. And then if people talk shit, they're like, oh, this is not even real. Yeah. And it's like who gives a fuck? Yeah. Well, just like I don't like though when you're hanging out with comics for realism. Not Friends. Oh, like when people just talk shit about LA. It's like LA is so stupid. It's like you're thinking of Hollywood, and not like all the spectrum that is Los Angeles. And the same with New York. Yeah, and then the other thing is like what's the glory days you're talking about here? Yeah. Yeah, well, you have like some like gumshoe noir dream of what seedy Los Angeles used to be or something. Fucking zoot suits or something. I don't know. It was horrible for us. No, right, yeah. That's what I was just talking to my friend. I was talking to my friend because I like to. I used to have this thing on my birthday that I would go do something serious, and I would make my family go do something real serious. So my family lived in Virginia, and so I was over there with them, and on August 21st, my birthday's August 21st, I'll tell you my social later.
On August 21st, there was a slave uprising, and a bunch of slaves broke out of like capture and fled, and they got cut off by fucking racist white people and fucking got killed. All of them got slaughtered in like the swamp, and it was on my actual birthday. And I was like, we're going to that swamp. And my family was like, no, we're not. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I was like, really, I wanted to do that. And I was like, we ended up going to Gettysburg.
Cool.
You know?
Yeah.
And just being like, I like to do like heavy shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know why. Just instead of like going bowling or something, you know what I mean? I'll be like, can we go somewhere intense?
Yeah.
Go somewhere intense. But I told my friend that, and she was like, "Oh, you got to go to Williamsburg, Colonial Williamsburg." And I was like, I don't really like those kind of places.
Yeah, like reenactment places.
Yeah,
fuck that. Yeah.
Wasn't really the hottest time period for my folk.
Yeah, exactly. That's like when people talk about time travel, and you're like,
anything before what is it? Like, anything before 1986, I'm good.
Yeah. When did Eddie Murphy Raw come out? Right around then.
After that, I'm straight. Yeah. And even I would not go back to my childhood. Like people are always like, "Oh, if you can go back to an age, would you go to this age? This is my best age."
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, absolutely. I've never, even as a kid, I was very like, yeah, this is gay, this is dumb.
Same here.
Hated it.
You see how cynical I am about stuff?
Yeah. And when I think about it too, like high school was like pretty chill for me. Like, you know what I mean? I played sports. I was like, you know, I had a lot of friends and shit. And the whole time I was like, dude, I hate this shit. This just sucks. I can't keep waking up early like this. Like you know, like
I had classes at 6 a.m.
Dude, that's crazy to like. Because us too, like, we had to go play football. I had, you know.
Yeah. I did so bad in school. I failed all of my classes freshman year.
Yeah.
So after freshman year, I had classes for the rest of. Yeah. I had summer school and what is it, ROP.
Yeah.
For the rest of high school, just from freshman year, and I didn't do shit for the rest of. Yeah, I was over that shit quick.
Dude.
I didn't do anything.
Dude, as soon as I had a choice to stop going to school, it was over, you know.
Yeah.
Because it's like. It was always an authority thing to me too.
Same here.
You know what I mean? It's like, bro.
I don't like the teacher-student dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel bad for teachers, honestly. Like, as I grow older too, like my sister's in teaching, I know people in teaching, and it's like, obviously, they're not having a great time either. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like everyone's having a bad time.
Everyone's having a bad time.
You know? And everyone, like, no one has enough. You know what I mean? Like, teachers aren't getting paid enough. Kids don't have enough support.
It's another one of those systems that's just, like, gotten carried away.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't intended for this many people.
Sure, yeah.
Schoolhouses used to be small.
Yeah.
They teach you basic math.
Right.
And then you
got a job at 8.
Yeah. You were a farmer.
Yeah, exactly.
And your father before you and his father before him.
Right. Yeah, trade. The lost art of trade.
It's definitely not lost.
I mean a little
lost
bit.
Amongst, like, this generation, maybe?
That's what I mean. That's absolutely what I mean.
You go to some other states, bro, and them boys is...
Oh, of course. No, of course. But just in general, like mechanics, you know what I mean? Like,
I know a few mechanics.
I know a few mechanics too, and that's both my brother-in-law and my cousin-in-law, I guess, they're both carpenters, and they're like in the union, and like listening to them talk about shit. I'm like, damn, this has happened for millennia.
Yeah.
Bro's talking about building a door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this has happened forever, you know, and like.
I used to wonder that. I used to wonder, like, with those, like, tradesmen, like, how few of people it would take for them to, like, make cars.
Yeah.
Like, because, you know, like, factories and stuff like that, that's, like, mega money.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So, like, because my whole thing because, you know, I love technology.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how can we get all this cool stuff?
Yeah.
You know? Like, I can't mine the minerals for my fucking... computer chips.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how. Joe Rogan, to talk about Joe Rogan in both of our episodes.
Yeah.
He has a joke where he's like, do you know how to make any of this shit? Right. None of us know how to make any of this shit.
Yeah,
he's like, hits the microphone. He's like, I don't know how this works.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I know how it works, but I don't know how to make it.
Yeah. Well, with like some of the like microchips, like you know, the companies that are making them are having a hard time making them. You know what I mean? Like,
There's this really cool video about like how to make a microchip or like how to make a microprocessor.
First, you get an African child.
Well,
first, you throw him in a ditch and you say, "Come back in 20 hours."
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm trying to do as little editing as possible.
Good. That was funny.
I mean, it's true. It's true. Unfortunately, true. That's how companies look at it.
Yeah.
But he was talking about the actual like material process, and it's insane.
Yeah.
Like chemical bathing like this chip that is like. It's like it starts off normal, pretty normal. Like you find this mineral, it's processed flat.
Yeah.
And then it's literally just a series of like different chemical, like you dip it in a bunch of different liquids. Or like.
And they have chemical reactions.
It has chemical reactions, yeah. And you like lay a certain like kind of material on it and you dip it in this shit and then it like, it makes it.
Magic.
Yeah. Alchemy. Yeah. Fucking alchemy shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who says technology isn't this like sorcery? You know, if you think about like if you tell a caveman that I can pull up my phone and look at a picture of like Australia,
you know, the caveman in Australia.
Yeah, and they're like, look at this is the caveman in Australia. You're like, wow, like that's sorcery.
Yeah, for sure.
At a certain point, I guess technology is like magic, you know, but it's like when you go back to like previous episode where we talk about the sacred geometry, like. It's just like the reaction of the universe has like certain consistencies that we can do and create this.
And I think sacred geometry is a little bit different in this thing because we're talking about like chemistry.
Yes.
Where like chemistry is like things react and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sacred geometry is like you can control shapes. Kind of a thing. It gets weird.
I mean, I guess
it gets weird. You get there's stuff where it gets that sacred geometry gets weird.
I'm just saying
like once you start talking about, all right. The chemistry thing is a trip because like the microphone, you know, or like a speaker, like a microphone and a speaker, are the exact same device but reversed. All it is a diaphragm connected to a coil and a magnet, like a diaphragm connected to a magnet and a coil around that magnet.
Right.
And then when the diaphragm moves, it heats the coil, and that creates the energy.
Right.
It's like literally like that's it.
Yeah. Right. But that reaction is part of like universal
like
math.
A rock having a magnetic force is something that makes me be like, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
There's other stuff cracking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's crazy.
Yeah.
You can charge this thing up, it can hold a charge, and it has a field.
Yeah.
And we can manipulate that. You can unmagnetize things and remagnetize things.
Right. Yeah.
So like that's where I'm like sacred geometry. You start learning about these shapes, and like once you like learn, like I can do this, I can undo this.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, I guess that's the same thing though, no? Like if the waves that come off that rock are in this format that is like geometrically repeatable throughout the universe.
And we've learned that thing, and we can manipulate it. And that's where I get scared about sacred geometry.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, what if that's what I was kind of saying, like what if those ancients learned something and like that's why it's sacred, because they're like not everyone can know about this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's when that consciousness thing starts getting too real for me, where it's like if you can learn that the basic shapes, you know, because like, you know, like with RG, red, green, and blue, you can make up any color.
Yeah,
you know about that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
So like those kind of things exist with like circles, triangles, you know, and like with a perfect circle, you can make a cube. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a actual sharp-edged cube.
Right. Within the circle.
With a bunch of circles. Like you can use circles to make, that's what that Metatron's cube thing I was showing you is.
Yeah.
It's a cube made out of circles. But it's like in such a pattern, and they're perfectly in such a way that it like creates a 3-dimensional cube. It's, I don't know, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
And that starts getting into that like 4-dimension shape being projected on a 3-dimensional surface.
Yeah.
And that thing that people have been tapping on in schizogram.
Yeah.
I don't know, that stuff starts getting crazy to me because then you start being like, okay, my observations affect reality. You start learning about these things. You're measuring
Right.
the compass and fucking ruler, or the cross and ruler, or whatever they call it. Compass and cross or something. The Freemason symbols.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those are symbols of measurement.
Yeah, right.
And that's like their whole thing is like building their bricklayers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Masons. Masons. Yeah, the fundaments though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That shit trips me out.
Yeah.
There's
measurements of what we are or just matter. You know what I mean? You're just measuring, because it boils down to that. If you think about it like that, if you think about just the true measure, like the true gauge of society is constant measurements. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
And that's like that observation thing where like you're just us agreeing. Those agreements are us like keeping measures.
Yeah.
You know, we went through great lengths and measures.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, but I don't agree to be to not float right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do.
Do I?
Yeah, gravity's a law.
Right, but I didn't agree to it.
You don't agree to any of the laws.
Exactly. Right.
But you're implicit or whatever. Like you're agreeing against your will.
Yeah. Right. You know, that's what I was kind of trying to get at. Like, there is reality. You are pulled to the earth through gravity. There's an objective truth.
That's where the hammer and the elephant thing, you know that whole thing?
Yes, the illusion of whatever truth, you know. Yeah. You'll believe it.
You're like, oh, this is how it's always been, so obviously I can't pull this out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what they tell you, dude. Never pull it out.
Have a bunch of kids. I just try to tell my girl, bro. I just try to tell my girl there's this elephant and shit. And like
the real elephant in the room.
The real elephant in the room. How much I want to come inside you.
Yeah, she ain't fucking with me like that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Whew.
I know.
It's all symbols still. Still all symbols. Yeah, dude, that Mason stuff gets my mind going, bro. I'm like, what did you guys learn?
Yeah.
What is it? Dude, that meme you sent me about the fungal, like, you fucking fungal piece of shit. Give me the secrets of the universe.
Yeah, right. It's like, I see pretty color. Yeah.
But just being mad about not knowing the fucking, dude, that show Community, it's got a lot of things that I like that touch on these kind of things.
Yeah.
But there's one where Jeff and fucking Troy are they're on a trampoline that gives them enlightenment. They get enlightened through a trampoline. And so they're like, being all like chill and cash and stuff. And then the other character, Pierce, he was like, are you guys smoking something? He's like, give me something, I'll smoke you guys under the table. And they're like, we're just like, hey, relax, man, you know, everything's fine, you know? And then he's like, tell me how you guys get this calm, goddammit, or he's like, or I'm gonna kill myself. I don't know. He was just like being so extreme about. He was like, dude, teach me how to be this chill, or like, tell me what's your secret to being this chill.
Yeah.
And that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's like desire is still a non-desire, still a desire thing.
Right. Desire to not desire any longer.
Yeah.
Dang.
Wanting to be calm, so to the point of frustration.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. Like wanting all the answers so bad that you destroy things. Yeah, that is interesting.
And then, staying on the Freemason community thing, they have this thing where there's like a secret society of the air condition repairmen. And that like he's like our ancestors, and it was like Franz on the pharaohs, and it was like we used to keep people cool for their leisure. He's like now, and then we learned how to make ourselves comfortable, basically. Yeah, and it's like touching on that thing of like these people, the people who learned the base elements of like how to lay bricks, make roads, make paths.
Yeah.
at some point learned some more things that were like, this isn't just us making some rocks and laying our stones down. Like,
Right.
we're building our universe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're building our world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, like one thing I was learning about the Incas,
Right.
and one of the coolest things I thought they did is like when they would grow this society, they became this empire. But what they did is like every city they would conquer, they would build a road there. They would build like terraces for them to have gardens and stuff. They would build like
They'll put them on.
church. Yeah, they put them on. They build like temples and stuff.
Yeah.
And like part of the agreement was that like we are gonna supply you with this stuff. You are gonna they're all in the Inca society. You didn't pay for nothing. They gave you everything, but when there was a big work project, you would have to go work at the project. So if they're build this big highway, part of your right to get food was
Classic.
like, okay,
Classic.
now like
I'll do you this favor.
yeah,
Oh, that's our time.
yeah.
But one day the Corleone. Oh yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
but part of civilization is building. You know what I mean? And the people that know how to build are technically usually in the control.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why it's important to learn trades.
Yeah.
Learn how to do something.
Yeah.
Make yourself relevant.